like around 2 o'clock, and we had a low census. And we're like, come on, second shift. We're ready to go home. Everything's done. People are taken care of, and nothing really going on. And we're all standing around the nurse's station, and the only way to describe this sound was like if you had 3 or 4 granite rocks laying in a pile and a rock dropped onto it, rocks hitting rocks. And we heard that sound and we're like, that doesn't sound right. And so 3 of us left the nurse's station and turned right, and it was only like 2 rooms down. And we go to the doorway, and the nursing assistant is walking through the room, holding her hands up and shaking her hand like, I do not believe this. And so we walk on in there, and there's this woman, she weighs like 350 pounds. And she's laying on her side. Her torso is into the shower, and half of the toilet, half of a porcelain toilet is stuck to her tail. And we're standing there looking, and these toilets, it was in the old part of the hospital where you've got the pipe with the big nut on the top of it. And then there's a porcelain flange behind the toilet with bolts in it that's holding the suspended toilet. It was a porcelain toilet. And what it was, she was so big, and they took her to the shower room that we called the car wash. And they would take her in there, and when she'd come in and she'd get off of that shower chair and she'd have to go sit on the toilet, she was walking like this. And then she would just go in there and back up and just plop down. Well, after so many weeks of doing this, she caused a damn stress fracture in that porcelain flange because she saw where it ripped off the wall and it stripped the bolts out of it, and just plopped down. And she's laying there with half of a damn porcelain toilet stuck to her ass. And so we're standing there looking at it, and she's just batting her eyes, and she's conscious. Okay. And I'm like, okay, we got to get her up. So one of the girls with us was a physical therapist. And I said, Robin, go get a gait belt. Well, Robin had to get 2 gait belts, and she's fitting them together. Well, I get my butt up in the corner of that shower, and Pat and Robin are in the front pulling, and I'm in the back trying to lift up. And it's like getting a damn cow off of a railroad track, and we're trying to get her up, and we get her up, and she stands up, and she gets up. Well, this lady is very religious, and she was a member of First Baptist Church, and she was a lonely woman and all that. And so we get her up, and we're looking at her, and all of a sudden she decides to get emotional, and it's sad. And
was the toilet still stuck on her?
No, we got that all taken care of. And it was pushed back in the corner. And so we're going to walk her out to the bed and get her to sit on the bed and do a thorough assessment of her. And she's down there, she's getting all emotional and carrying on. How did this happen to me? How did this happen to me? And so I kind of got down on her level and got all Baptist on her. I went, praise Jesus, you are fine. I said, you are fine. The glory of God is among you. You are fine. And I'm meaning this, but I'm got to get on her level, get her calmed down.
Yeah.
And so
would understand.
we get her in bed and get her there, and I'm like, this is my patient. I got to go call the doctor, and here it is, the end of my shift. So I go and call Dr. Fouché, and I tell him what happened, and you could hear him laughing and trying to hold back from the laughing on it. I mean, this woman was a character. And he said, Kello, write orders of what you think you need. I'll be over there in an hour to sign off on the orders. And I said, well, I'm going to order some x-rays. I'm going to get her a sedative and a pain pill. She didn't have any of that on board. Well, all of a sudden there's maintenance with a wagon with a new commode on it, and we haven't gotten this woman out of this room. We've got to close this room down, right? So we've got to get, I'm telling that maintenance man, I said, get the hell out of here, get the hell out of here. We don't need to upset her. You know, she doesn't need to see this. So he backs up and goes on around. And so we get her moved into this bigger room that was nice, and we get her in there, and I go back to get her a pain pill and a Xanax. You know, let's get her nerves calmed down before the doctor gets over there, and then I've got x-ray coming to do portable x-rays on her. And I go walking in that room, and all these fine ladies from First Baptist Church had arrived, and they had been in her room that we were shutting down. They had put up a couple of posters of the Chippendales, stuff like that of her, because they're trying to beat this woman up. You know, she was kind of a mental. And so they're getting all that stuff put up in her new room. And one of them goes, Malcolm's here. Malcolm's gonna take care of everything. You are gonna be fine. And I walked up to her and I said, Miss Gail, I said, I've got you a little something that I think will help you feel better if you'll take it. And I told her what it was. She snatched that pill cup out of my hand. She took that medicine and downed it and then put it down. She goes, I just got off the phone with my brother. He's an attorney in Houston, Texas. And he tells me that I should sue you all. And I stood beside her bed and I said, what for? She said, for not having proper equipment. And I said, proper equipment for a fat lady?
Oh, man.
And, you know, and she knew it. And she said, yes. Because, you know, we would talk. And I said, no, ma'am, no, we're not going to go that far. I said, you're working on your weight loss and we're helping you and all that. And I said, everything is going to be just fine. And Dr. Fushi came in and we talked to her. And she was fine. And we got her out of there in like 3 weeks. She came back and walked into that hospital, you know, and was fine.
What was she in there for?
What she walked back in for?
What was she in there for?
Yeah.
2 knee replacements.
Mm.
One she'd had previously, it didn't do well, and then she was in for another one, but she was huge.
So she had to lose weight before she could have
She
it.
wouldn't lose the weight. She wouldn't lose the weight. She didn't want to lose the
So
weight.
she didn't have the knee replacement.
Not the second
right.
one. But she came back and walked in, and that was great. And then we did the second knee replacement later on.
Yeah.
But she